do that one, it should work instantly. See, I'm good at my job. It doesn't work. Da-da-da. Do we have the red circle? I want to see the red circle.
Yes. We have the red circle. That is so fitting, though. I haven't realized it before now, but that there is like a red circle around the live stream, like us, like the bells.
And Leah confirms we're live.
Yeah. And now it works. I even
Great.
had to check my volume, and nothing is. Oh, it's amazing. There we go.
Awesome. So, yeah, welcome everybody back to our. I almost said monthly thing, but it's not monthly. It's when we remember. So welcome back to Squire Talk. Today we have our own knight here. So I think that you'll get to introduce yourselves. And yeah, let's start with the Allfather, Gilliam.
Yeah, so I am Gillian Blackhorn. Yeah, I've been around for a little bit. I joined the SCA in end of 91 and started fighting early 1992.
That is so cool. So fighting the year I was born. All right. All right. Let's take it to my knight, Eirik.
Yes, so my name is Eirikur. The name apparently messes with some of the non-Nordic heralds, which is kind of fun. I joined SCA in 96, but didn't start fighting until 2007. So I tried out all kinds of stuff before then. So been around a bit, but not as long.
Cool. And then we also have my co-host, Jedward. You don't get to tell you anything about yourself. They already know.
Yeah, everyone
about
knows
me as well, I
everything,
hope.
so it's okay.
Yeah. So normally when we do Squire Talk, there is a warm-up round where we talk about knightly virtues. Oh, that was a really good question.
We take that. We take it later.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, in a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, so there is a warm-up round, but these two veterans, they don't get any warm-up rounds. We'll go directly into our first question. And maybe Leah's question could be a part of this, since it's a little bit about your background. So you told us a little bit about when you started the SCA, but can you tell us then who you were squired to? The first question, if we add in that one. And when did you get knighted? And can you tell us about a tournament that stands out to you that you've been in? Oh, there are a lot of questions. So maybe start with who you were squired to and when you were knighted. So Eirik, can you start, please?
Yes, kind of easy. I was squired to the good Gilliam we have here. I became a squire in 2011, and I was knighted in 2017. So we started. I think we started talking very early 2011, or if it was 2010. About becoming a squire.
It was so long ago, I don't remember.
I have it in some notes somewhere, but it was so long ago. So yes, I was a squire for roughly 6 years, with a brief pause there.
Nice. And Gilliam?
I was squire to Morgan the Grey, the first Nordmark knight back in the days. And I was knighted at Pensik in 1997.
Oh.
Which was kind of interesting. I was almost late for my own ceremony.
It doesn't.
Oh, that's lovely.
I'm like, yeah. I can totally understand that.
I was out fighting. It was, it was actually, if you want to hear the story, it's kind of fun.
Yes, this is
So-
why
Tell the
we're
story.
here. Please tell us the story.
So a friend of mine was also a knight, lived in Drachwell. He was also part of a tournament society. So he was there and saying, okay, Gilliam, since you're about to be knighted, do you want to hold the field against all comers? And I go, of course. I mean, who wouldn't, right? So I was standing there fighting for quite a bit and having a great time. And then I realized, I should probably, head back and, go prepare. As I'm going back to camp, I start meeting these people. Gilliam, aren't you supposed to be in court? Well, yeah, I'm on my way. Okay. And then next one. Aren't you supposed to be in court? Yeah. I think it starts soon. Well, oh shit. So I have to run back to camp, try to do a quick shower in one of those solar showers, so it's scalding hot. And then running up to the barn where we had the Grand Court. And back then we were the youngest kingdom, so we started.
Oh.
So when I'm approaching the barn, I can see Duke Prothel out scouting, and then just shouting, "He's coming!" So yeah, but I made it.
Did you get a writ? But you knew about everything.
And
Did
this
you-
was the day after the vigil.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Silly me.
You know, there's usually a vigil before.
It's been a long day, okay? It's been a long day.
Oh, that's really cool. Have you been to Penfic a lot, or was that like the first time you went?
No, this was the second time, and I've been there once more after that, so only 3 times.
Cool. Jedward, do you remember when you got squired? How long time? When was that?
Shut up. 30th. So it's 2 years ago now? Three technically, if we go by the year.
Yeah, I got squired 2018, if I'm not completely wrong, on Norrskensfesten in Frosting.
You got squired the year I got my AOA.
Oh.
To put in perspective.
Do you mean that? Are you saying that I've been a squire for a very long time? Is that what you're trying to say here?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying
Great.
that it's been a long time.
Thank you very much. So, next question is which virtue do you relate to the most and why? And we wrote in our questions not prowess because we think it's, I mean, you're definitely allowed to brag about your skill. That's fine. But we think it's very interesting to hear about the other ones. So, yeah. Gilliam, would you like to start?
Oh, that's a really tricky one, actually. I'm not sure. I maybe generosity, possibly. I very much enjoy the joy of giving and helping others. Could also maybe be humility because of the whole way we've been brought up, or I've been brought up in Sweden, and the whole jantelagen, and try to brag and things. So humility sort of balances that. I don't know, maybe one of those.
Thank you. And Eirike?
it's difficult to just pick one, because they sort of they relate to each other. I mean, you have one, and then that one sort of flows into the next one, and so on. So it's difficult to pick just one. But I'd also say generosity in not in the terms of spending money, but spending time and effort and helping each other, and being generous with the time you have, with the knowledge you have, and sort of spreading the good things. Being generous with to maybe sound a bit weird, being generous with good times, in that sense, and also a bit of for knights, it's also combines into franchise, what which is a weird term for Swedes, because that's more business-like. But what it means in this context is sort of the franchise of being a knight, and or being knightly would be the thing, because you can be knightly without being a knight. So the franchise of that. So those two in combination is with that said, the rest is not unimportant.
Thank you. Did I miss a question?
Yes.
Yes. Let's dial it back a little bit and go back to, can you tell us about the tournament that stands out to you that you've been in? Erike, can you start?
It's I've been in several that stands out, but one that stands out in for me personally was in a tournament, in a crown tournament, where Leif and I were fighting. And afterwards, I heard someone come up and say, well, that was very inspiring, because both were fighting competitively, but we also showed that we were having a good time. We had this, we fought and backed out, and nobody landed a decisive blow, and we just teased a bit, and well, you dodged and stop being so mean and stand still and whatnot, and then we were fighting again, and people felt that was competitive, real competitive, but still in good humor, so as not to take away the good times, even though you're trying to compete. And yes, I was, it's a bit about me, but that was a moment where it's sort of, this is what for me it's about. You can compete, but also it's a friend that you're competing against, so don't forget that. That is one of those, but I have several. We can have the no shit there I was for a long time.
Yeah, thank you. Gilliam.
There are two that kind of really stands out to me at the moment. The first one was the first Drachenwald Crown tournament that I fought in. And I fought in the first bout in the first Crown tournament in Drachenwald. And that was a thing. And I didn't realize it until the marshal actually said, we were standing there doing the salutes. And then he goes, gentlemen, this is the first fight in the first Crown tournament ever in Drachenwald. And then the moment sort of hit me, and I was like, shit, this is historic. And then I got kind of, caught up in the moment. But I didn't lose. It was a double kill, so there you go. And then another tournament that really stood out to me, that was more recent, and that was the auction tournament at Double Wars. Just the pure joy to be able to fight again, because old injuries and stuff. And it was really high level fighters in that one, really good, and everybody seemed to have a great time. And yeah, just pure joy.
Yeah.
Can I add one of those moments as well? A tournament that stands out. It was actually me fighting Gilliam. where I've decided that he's not going to control the fight. I'm going to make sure that he's not going to be in charge. So the moment of lay-on, there was just I went all out and threw everything I had against him. Didn't manage to beat him, but it takes a step back and eyes this big. And then I realized he's taking me seriously. The fight was over quite quickly after that one, but it was still the moment of I got my knight to, put in what he had to make sure I didn't win. And even though I lost, it was a moment of, you know what, I'm playing with, having still having fun, but managed to do something really good. So
It was just pure luck that I survived that one. Just saying.
I mean, that's really nice. It's like both of you are talking about tournaments that like really bring you joy, and also the historical ones gotta be crazy. We also had the honor to watch it when we were at your place. It was really fun. More fun to watch Helga's reaction to it. That was also a moment, a historical moment. So thank you so much. Jedward, do you have any tournament that stands out to you?
Yes, it was actually the last Principality tournament. To do a torch tournament when it starts raining in the night and you have high level fighters against you. It's amazing. I mean, I didn't win, but I had so much fun during the whole process. And it was the when you can see the action movie from fighters, from a night movie, for example, and you can just see everything from it's pouring down rain, it's horrible conditions, it's just grrr. That moment I actually got to be in, so that was pure joy for me.
Yeah, it's the same tournament for me. It was really, really cool. One of my favorite memories from it is fighting. No, I completely lost the name. Knight from Styringheim.
Rook, Cormac, Morales.
Cormac, yes. Cormac. No, fighting Cormac. He gets my leg, so I get down on my knees, and he is big as a house, so I felt like I disappeared, but I only had a small buckler, and I don't really know what's happening. One moment he's in front of me, and the next moment my face is in the ground. I have dirt in my mouth, but it was great. It was amazing. When I took off my helmet, my face is dirty. It was awesome. And then you had like the torch slides, and then the rain was great. Yeah, it was a great moment. So we talked a little bit about which virtue that you relate the most to, but which virtue do you struggle the most with? And I don't remember who I asked to start the last time, so I'll go with Eirike.
do you mean a struggle with me personally to live up to, or a struggle with as a concept?
Oh, good question. Let's go with personally.
I'd say it should fall under the probably pride, because it's a competitive thing we do when we fight, and sometimes when it gets, someone beats me that I think I should be able to beat, I have moments of that's not okay. It's not on that the person I'm facing, they don't do anything wrong. It's me that needs to deal with it, and that could take it takes a few seconds. I've learned to identify it and go with, okay, that's not okay, and then go, well, it's not, well, they bested me because I did something I knew I shouldn't have done, and I need to sort of cope with it, take a breath and go, okay, it's okay. They bested me. What can I learn from it? But I think that there's a moment of just a spark going, no. So, okay, hang on, take a breath. Don't let this bother me as much. It's I haven't gotten to the point where I'm past it, but I've gotten to the point where I can identify it and deal with it, basically. So I think that is the one that I struggle the most with, and it usually happens when I relax too much and someone I'm fighting beats me when I know I should be able to perform better. And or it mostly relates to the fighting part, because that's so instantaneous, so it goes so quick. Other times it's easier to sort of think things through slower and analyze and go about it, what's happening. I think that's the one.
Thank you. So it's a little bit like you're working against your first instinct, maybe.
Yeah, and also part of if fighting in a tournament and I lose a bout, that I know I should, I did something that stupid, so I lost it because I did something wrong that I really shouldn't have done. It's not about if someone is actually better than me. It's where I know I should have done better. I know better and I can fight better, but I just didn't, because I just didn't put my time and or energy into it. And then I need to overcome it, because if it's a best out of 3 and it was the first bout, to go to the next bout, my opponent doesn't need their help to beat me. I don't need to have that part of my brain going, you should have, being angry at myself, or to be able to let it go and just refocus and go, okay, I missed. What can I learn from it? Let's refocus, and not have an enemy in front of me and an enemy between my own ears.
Mm.
So it's the instantaneous thing and to deal with it. I don't know if that's too. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. Thank you so much, Gilliam.
For me personally, I think I will gonna go with courage. To actually be willing to face, difficulty, danger, pain, even though you might fear it or it's a difficult situation. But you do it because it needs to be done, and that can be challenging sometimes. So the happy moments, sometimes you just hang back a little bit and see if is there anyone else that's going to handle the situation.
Mm.
Whereas I should probably just do it, not wait for anyone else, because it needs to be done.
Thank you. Thank you both for being so open and honest about this. But I think we have answered this question at some point in the beginning. But do you want to?
I mean,
do you want to say anything, or?
We, us two, can actually do like, what do you have right now? Which one do you struggle with the most right now? And I am actually going to say the same as Gilliam. Mine right now is courage, because there's a lot of things happening, and courage is a hard topic. It is hard to do the thing that needs to be done, because you can hurt people, or you can be a disappointment for people, and it really sucks. And that's something that I struggle with at the moment. And you just have to try to do better. That's all you have to do. But it's so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna be boring and say the same. Also courage, for me. Mostly with like the courage to take up space, but also the courage as kind of a little bit what you're saying, Edward, um to allow for other people's to allow other people to be uncomfortable with what you're saying. If I feel that something is not okay, and to say it and to allow the tension that might become of it. Yeah, that's a tough one that I do want to work on.
Isn't it, I mean, it's also part of being a Swede, because that we were raised to not cause any fuss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So and as you're saying, struggle with right now, it's, I mean, that one is something I think most people struggle with more or less their entire lives.
Mm.
I just haven't been in that position lately,
Mm.
but that one is very hard, and I think it's also part of Swedish culture. Don't cause any fuss.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like it's quite easy to just, or for me at least, it's easy that I just go into my own head too much instead of just saying, okay, this is not okay. What are we doing, or what are you doing, or whatever. I just go into my head and I'll go like, am I over analyzing this? Am I being too much if I say something? What if I make anybody uncomfortable? What if I, and then I just spiral out instead of just, because I think it wouldn't be too bad if you're just like, okay, that's not okay. Can we do something else, or can we shift this around? You don't have to make like a big deal out of it and to go like, what the fuck are you saying, you crazy person? To throw like my gauntlet in their face. You, that reaction might not be appropriate every time. So yeah. So our next question is, can you tell us about a chivalric moment that you have seen or participated in? So at some point when you have witnessed something and been like, this feels like chivalry. Would you like to start, Gilliam?
There are actually many moments that I witnessed, which is, chivalrous and very inspiring. One that just popped into my head when I saw the question was, and also different context, both mundanely and in a society.
Yeah.
But in a society, I remember one time, what was at one of the double wars, and Bearcat was fighting on the opposite side. And during a hold, she approached this fighter, and she was just, that was so cool, whatever it was. And she was super impressed with him, and she pulled one of her cast buttons off her gambeson and gave it to him as a token. And that act of generosity was really inspiring, because you could see how much that person appreciated that gesture and how that much that meant. So yeah, that was really inspiring, I think.
Wow, yeah. Thank you. Eike.
As Gilliam said, there are so many moments where people do things because, chivalric things. But one thing that stood out, that or top of my head, was, it was a double wars, and it just started pouring down, and it's really heavy rain, and there were a bunch of people, I think 4 or 5, that just went, okay, tents might fall over, because it was a bit windy and pouring down rain, and they just, without really communicating, they just went off to their respective tents, grabbed mallets, and just, let's take a round around camp, and then just went around the camp 2 rounds and just made sure that all the tent pegs of all the tents were down, because there were people offside and not there, but they just went around, didn't care who it was, which tent it was, just making sure that the tent pegs were down so the tent wouldn't fall over. And there was no real, should we? But it's cold, it's freezing. Just they looked up, started pouring, and without saying anything, they just, this is what needs to be done, and took off. Which to me is that is also generosity. They suffered a bit, sure, and it was time, but it wasn't paying things or cost them money or something. It took about half an hour or an hour possibly, but it made so many other people happy and saved gear and whatnot. So that's one that pops up. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, as a person who's been the victim of you having your tent tipping while inside, I am very appreciative of people doing things like that. Oh wow! So Edward, do you have an example or something?
I would say, chivalric moment. It was this last Double Wars actually. It was Sunday. We were packing to get home, and when you live in Gotland, you have a time frame that if you don't leave within this hour, you will miss the ferry, and you will have to spend the night somewhere. And when we started packing, we realized that one of our tires on the trailer had gotten a huge bubble on it. And we were like, we can't drive this. This will explode on the freeway. It won't work. And within, I believe it was like 30 minutes, people had already come up and made sure that we got the trailer stashed down on site or near the site. We had gotten in contact with people that can change the tire, and we made sure that we also could get on the ferry, so we didn't have to stay the night, or someone had to stay to fix everything in afterwards. And that was a chivalric moment from everyone else on site for those who actually helped us. And it felt inspiring in afterwards when you think about it, and everyone just coming to help and aid in all the ways possible. So that was a good moment for me.
Doesn't the SCA just give you like, you want to get wrapped in a hug or something? So great. So my and I feel like I've had a lot of to choose from, but one the first one I thought of was that when also during Double Wars, and the sun had been out like the whole morning, and one of the fighters had gotten a heat stroke and were down, and everything was okay. Yeah, the person got and everything, but to help cool them down quickly, their tunic, their fighting tunic, that they had just made was cut open in the middle to quickly get them cold. So but everything was fine, and when everyone and the person was helped away, and everything cooled down and people were leaving, then the rain started just pouring down. And I saw one knight who walk up, take the tunic, went and got their sewing kit and sat down, not in the rain, but outside, so I saw them, and hand stitched everything back together. And I came up to him and asked him about like, oh, good. I see that you found the tunic. And he said like, yeah, this person has enough to think about. They shouldn't need to worry about this, and just fixed it, and it looked perfect. And since you shouldn't speak gold behind somebody's back, it was William, of course, who did this. And
course.
I, and yeah, I felt like that was such a small but huge thing to do. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I also really like that everyone here, when we talk about chivalric moments, we talk about when people have been helping other people, and I think that kind of about really wonderful, beautiful moments in the essay, and I think that says something about kind of what we expect from the chivalry, but we also what we want to celebrate.
I have one thing between now, and for everyone who's actually listening in or watching right now, we actually have a new record. We have 15 people that's actually looking at us live right now, and that's most likely
shit.
double what we ever had. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, you can always pop on to our Discord and ask away in the chat for the live stream, or you can actually type it away on YouTube also, because I'm keeping an eye on everything just to make sure that if anything happens, we have the questions ready.
Great. And after that short commercial break, we'll take the next question, which is a little bit of the opposite of what we just talked about. But can you tell us of a moment when you have stepped away from the chivalrous path, or a moment when you've yourself felt chivalrous? And I also again forgot. I think Gilliam might be first out here.
Sure. I remember there was a woods battle at Pensik, and I think it was the first time I went to Pensik. It was really hot. It was the first woods battle, so you hadn't gotten used to the heat yet. I was super tired. And I was coming back into the woods from the resurrection point. And I felt something sort of gently poking me on the back of my shoulder. And when I turn, I see this spearman pointing his spear at me. And of course, the honorable thing would have been to just accept it as a good and then go back to the rest point. But I was so tired. I just didn't want to go back to resurrect. So I decided to take my garden fight instead. And I'm still ashamed of that moment.
Yeah. Thank you for being honest about it. I know we're kind of putting you on the spot, tell us about a moment where that might be really hard to talk about, but thank you for being honest. Eirik.
I mean, there are several moments where I've stepped away and most wanting to forget about them, but as Gilliam said, they stick with you. I also remember it was a double wars where people were warm. It was hot. It was one of those double wars. It was late and it was hot. It was the end of the week and it was a melee and everybody was tired. And we were fighting. And I realized people are not. I felt that they were not taking my shots. I shouldn't be the one judging if a shot lands good or not. But when I hit as hard as I can, and there's no reaction, there's just nothing. It could also be that I was tired and could not deliver the blows properly. So I switched from sword and shield to polearm and go back out and started hitting. And the same thing could also be me, that I was too tired, that I couldn't throw shots properly. So I'm not putting the blame on the people in the receiving end. I want to be very clear about that. But what it felt from my end was that they were not taking my shots. So starting hitting a bit harder and not behaving nightly on the field. And at one point, I think it was Gerhard that comes up and pokes me and say, "Are you okay?" And I'm going, you know what? I'm not. I'm just gonna leave. But what really bugs me is that I didn't realize it. I needed someone else to say, "Hey, this is not okay. You know, you're not behaving as we should expect." And that it stays with me still. And this is many years later. What I learned from it is when I start getting those kind of reactions, I go, no, I'm gonna take a few minutes break, drink some water, breathe a bit, and just make sure that I am not doing anything bad. But that is it was hard hearing someone else saying, hey, and he wasn't dragging me to the side and say, you're being naughty. It hadn't gotten to that point, but he said, you know, this doesn't look, you're not behaving properly, so are you okay? So I'm very thankful for having friends that can put me in line when I start getting that way.
We enjoy, or we like it when we have friends who can like push us down a peg a little bit sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Edward, do you have a moment
Oh God.
or moments?
I was gonna say I can't actually come up with something on the spot for this one.
You're just so perfect.
Aha. No, okay.
Did I bring
You
up
can
a little
start if you
factor?
want to think.
I would say I think it's 2 years now. During a Double Wars, I got in a very heated argument with someone, and I could not control my anger, and it was bad. But it was only pure anger. It wasn't no hitting someone or like that. It was just pure you're stupid. Why do you have this? Why do you say this? And we had an argument or a discussion that I couldn't handle, and I couldn't take myself away from the situation fast enough to just say we're not having this discussion. Instead, I stayed too long and got too angry. So, two of my very dear friends actually had to walk with me and calm me down because I was fuming. And it's all started with a discussion about consent. And it was that consent is not a thing and it's just hocus pocus. And I was just saying, no, you're wrong in every way. And I couldn't control my anger. So I had to. My friends actually said, come with us, let's just walk away. And that's how I got out of it. And that's something I'm ashamed of, that I couldn't actually just say, you know what, we're not having this discussion. It's too late. No, I'm leaving. And that's something that's with me and something I really can't take away. But I try to learn from that experience to be better, to do better. So I would say that one. That's still deeply ingrained into me.
Thank you. Yeah, I have from my concussion days, I have many things that I feel quite ashamed of, since I had my emotions regulation was shit. But I think a few things that stand out to me that is not because of the concussion is the the first thing is that and we talked about this at Double Wars or last Double Wars, about competitiveness between women, and I can feel that. So if I'm fighting another woman, I can feel more competitive than I do in other times, and that is something I realized at that meeting when we talked about it. And when I think about it, I get so angry with myself, but it's still there. And yeah, so I'm working on that. And another was quite recently when I wished that I truly wished that I had spoke up and said like, okay, you know what, because I saw a person doing something that I don't think they should have, not like super sad, but I still wish that I had said, okay, you shouldn't do that, or back off or anything. And I really wish, as I said, I struggle with courage. So I wish that I had been more courageous at that point and just taken the fact that it might have been a bit tense if I'd said anything, but just done it anyway. Yeah, I thought. So now that we have showed our souls, let's talk a little bit about squires and junglings. Or do we have any questions, by the way, in the chat?
I would say we
My
can
dear.
keep the incoming questions for the last ones.
All right. So, as you all know, you have us as squires. Happy days, and lucky you. But do you have any more younglings that people that are not squires, or do you have more squires that we don't know about? I don't care.
I don't have any more squires or younglings. Since I'm also a member of the Order of Defense, I have a scholar, but he is inactive. He thought it was a good idea to start his own company, have a kid, and build a house at the same time. So understandably, the fencing part is not prioritized as it should be. But no more squires.
Thank you, Gilliam.
I have had 3 squires previously. 2 left the society, and hopefully not because of me, but other things. And the other one got knighted, and he's sitting right here right now. So that's Erika. And currently I have 1 squire, which is Jedvar, and I have 1 apprentice, which is Erasmus. I have 2 youngins at the moment.
Oh. Cool. So we want to talk about ourselves for a little bit.
There we go.
Yeah, we are so ready for this. So, what were your thoughts on getting us as a squire, and why did you choose to ask or say yes? Because if I remember correctly, Gilliam, you were asked, and Eirika, you asked. So, Eirika, you can start.
The thoughts I contemplated back and forth quite a bit on when to take on a squire, and the advice I got when it feels right. So the reason I asked was a lot to do of your generosity, of you as a person. Yes, there was a requirement that yes, you should be a fighter as well, but that was not the most important part. It was you as a person, spreading joy and generosity around you, and partly because I wanted to learn more about it as well. So hanging out, that would teach me things as well. And also I wanted to support you as a fighter, because I saw and still see great potential in you as a fighter. So those were the main things, not the only things, but the main reason why I asked.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember when you asked, it was on my mother's 60th birthday. So we were at a party and I got this text message and I was like, oh, wow, why is he writing me? And I snuck away and I read it. And then I had to run to the bathroom to squeal a little bit. I was like, and then you said, you have to wait a little bit to say yes. And I was like, no, I don't need to wait. It was great. Yeah, Gilliam, what were your thoughts on being asked?
Yeah, I had a little bit of a heads up actually. So Duke Morales approached me at Davos, saying, "Just so you know, Jedward might be approaching you, maybe talking about becoming your squire." So that gave me a little bit time to think about it, and it was. I was actually a little bit impressed when he finally got the courage to finally ask me. It took you a while
It did.
during that week.
Like a couple of days, I think, just to muster up the courage and go, okay. I should bring a bag of booze or something else. Yes, okay. Ha!
And it was kind of cute because I realized what you were up to since I had a heads up. So I'm just sitting there waiting for you to actually ask me.
Mm.
That was kind of fun. And
That sounds super cute. Sorry.
yeah, and why I said yes, I mean, we didn't really know each other much at all. So the reasoning why I said yes was first and foremost a chance to get to know you better. And after we had our initial talk, because as you said, you shouldn't say yes right away. And thinking about that, okay, he seems like a good guy. And it would also give me a purpose and be able to do something for the fighting community, because struggling with injuries and such, I haven't been able to do as much as I would like. So this could be one way to actually still stay in touch with the fighting community, which I really appreciate. And yeah, a few months later, we decided to give it a go.
That's really nice. Oh. And yeah, what we are going to keep talking about ourselves. So, what virtues stands out in your squires? What challenges and strengths do you see in us? Guillaume, would you like to start?
I think what stands, at least what I feel stands out in Jedward is honesty and generosity. He feels like a genuine person at heart. So that is what I see the most. Challenges? Well, there is that thing, following the advice I actually, try to teach. But, baby steps. Now we actually made a pelt, so, and I hear he started practicing as well. So yeah,
Using it daily.
just took almost 2.5 years, but yeah.
Thank you. I'm a bit afraid to ask, but I agree.
Well, as I said, generosity is the virtue that stands out the most, and there's always if there's someone that needs help with whatever or encouragement or in whatever way, and you're around, you're never afraid to jump in and do things or have a kind word with someone that seems to need it. So that is your main trait, and I think the one of the main reasons why I asked you to become a Squire. The challenge, Gilliam might laugh at this, but believe in yourself. Yes. So the times when you believe in yourself and trust yourself, I think you need it mostly in the fighting field when you're in armor to trust yourself and actually you can do the thing. When you forget to doubt yourself, you fight a lot better. So I think that is in on the field, your worst enemy lives between your own ears. In that sense, so I think that's the biggest challenge. I think.
You should listen to him. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I heard that someone might have gotten that advice before or back at him. Thank you
Maybe.
so much. You're very kind. So this is the last of our questions, but then we have many questions that dropped in. So the last of our questions is, what do you wish that your Squire would take after you? Like, what do you want us to? Yeah, you get the gist, I hope. Erkir, what do you wish that I take after you in?
What do you wish to take after me? It's the difficult to pick one, but because that also means that I need to say that I do stuff well or have good traits, which is the bragging part. I think a couple of things that really made me improve. I don't think you need to improve as a person. What I think the trait for is to listen to people's advice and perhaps a bit of positive stubbornness and go with the I'm gonna frickin' get this thing. I'm gonna learn this and not stopping. Perhaps not as stubborn as I am, because that borderlines on unhealthy sometimes. But I think that would be a trait.
Thank you. Positive stubbornness. I am gonna write that down. Put it somewhere where I can see it. Gilliam, are you ready? What? And I also want to add that we designed these questions so that you have to brag a little bit about yourself. So yeah, Gilliam, take it away.
What I wish my Squire would take after me. Easy. My appreciation for beer.
I freaking knew it. I knew it.
It's a hurdle on your path.
I knew
No,
it.
but seriously, I don't think I have anything, because
I'm perfect.
no, but you're your own person, and I would rather ask what is it that you would like to emulate from me in that case? Because I don't want to think I want to shape you in any way. I feel not sure.
One of my what do you call it? One of my checkboxes for why I asked you from the beginning. I want to be able to be the most inspiring paladin everywhere. And since I asked a lot of people before I asked you, and even in like even from events that I've recently been to, people still say that you are one of the best ones. So yeah, that's one thing I'm gonna take from you and try to learn.
Okay, now you're making me blush. But
there you go.
That's great. This is like a big ego stroking episode. I love it. We with today's with the world today, we might need it a little bit.
Mm.
But we have gotten a lot of questions. Some we got before, and some we have gotten in the chat. So, Jaja, would you like to pick on those?
Oh, yeah. We actually got 2 questions from Niklas on our Discord. And the first one is there enough white belts in Drachenwald for everyone who wants to become a squire? And if there isn't enough, is it a problem? And the question is free, so one of you starts.
I'd say it depends what you want out of a knight squire relationship. And I'm using knight because we don't have any active masters of arms, but the same goes for them. I mean, all knights in Drachenwald are willing to teach basically everyone when it comes to fighting or chivalric virtues or aspects or discuss chivalric traits. So it depends what you want from a knight squire relationship. You don't need to be a squire to become a member of the Order of Chivalry. So I'm possibly there's not, but I don't know if I'm the right person to answer because I'm not on that side, so to speak. But it's the and I'd say this and in all honesty, I don't know any knight who are not willing to teach anybody who's willing to listen. So in that regard, there would be enough knights.
Yeah, I totally agree. And so basically the question is there enough to go around to have that many relationships? I don't know. I have asked like one recently, Eriker, and then I was asked another one. Apart from that, nobody has approached me in any way. So, and I don't really know. I think it depends on how many people are there out there who wants to become squires. Maybe they don't have any knights in the area, or there aren't enough knights that they find someone that they would have this relationship with.
Yeah, I mean it's the it's not on a it's not an award or a rank or something. It's more as you said, it's a relationship. I do remember that it was and it was so long ago. No, it wasn't actually that many years ago, but some view it as an award or as a recognition for fighting prowess, but there are so many reasons for knight squire relationship. So it depends on why you want it. So if there's the I want to be a squire, but there's no knight. Well, why do you want to be a squire? What is the reasoning behind it? Is it I want to be a better fighter? Approach any knight, and they will talk until the cows go home about fighting. That's not a problem. We love talking about fighting and teaching fighting. So it depends what you're after.
I would say if I can understand the question, it's the whole you need to be a squire to become a knight, but that's also not true. And I would guess for the upcoming question also that you don't have to be on the same continent. You don't need to be in the same country to be squire to a knight. You can be online, and you can do it for a long distance. But for me personally, I want to have the squire knight relationship in a close relationship, because I want to be able to hang out, to do things in practice. And I think that there's a lot of people that don't know that you don't have to be Squire to become knight. I think if I can understand the question or what he wants to come up with, I think that's one of the things that is hiding here. And the other question from him: is there areas where it's better opportunities to be a Squire? We all know that Drachenwald is a large area and we have fighters in many countries. So do we
I
know?
would say, in one aspect, yes. Because if you're in an area with lots of knights, you will get seen more from the chivalry. So that's a way of exposure. Might help, or might not, depending on. But so maybe that could be one thing. I don't know.
I mean, we are quite spread out. I mean, we all live in the same country, but for Gilliam lives in Stockholm and takes 4 hours to drive between Stockholm and where I live. And then there's a whole that's we still have half the country left northwards, and there are 2 knights north of me. One is not that active, one is semi-active and broken and cannot fight anymore. So in that regard, that part of Nordmark is not. It's a tough place to be a fighter if you want to be a Squire and have a knight that is local. So absolutely, but as Edward said, there are other opportunities as well. When I was Gilliam Squire, we had this session online where I was doing pedal work and he was coaching me from his home and I was in my home, and that worked. So of course it's easier if you live close by. So yes, there are areas that are where there are more knights, or more active knights would be the main theme there, because even if there are knights and they are not active, it's not that helpful. So sure, there are areas that are better.
Yeah, I think like I agree, and I think also that, as you said, it depends on what you want from the relationship. Like as you all talked about, I really enjoy that. For me, it's a lot about prowess and learning how to fight, but it's also so much about like being your Squire has also helped me to understand society on a completely different level, and given me like a context in a way that I didn't have before. Like just this weekend, you asked me how do we what's in English, like what do we call people, what are the titles for people, and like a few years back I would have said I have no clue. Just like a small thing like that, to just contextualize the whole society and to give me a better understanding. So that helps so much if you to have someone in the SA to help with that. But you don't need a knight for that. You can have you just need someone to help you. But it might be harder if you don't have a specific like a relationship like that. So yeah, I don't know. I guess, as I said, it depends what you want from the relationship. But I also guess that it's easier to have to become a Squire to someone if you live in a more night dense area. So if you live in Svappavaara, high up in Sweden, it might be harder if you never meet any knights.
Just like we said, it sort of boils down to you have to find someone that you feel that you can have this relationship with, and if you don't meet any, then you don't really know.
And there are people who want to, who can take in squires, for example, and you can do it online, because I know of a couple that actually lives in two completely different continents, and still they have the squire and the knight. Brain farts.
Relationship.
Thank you. And it works perfect for them. So it doesn't have to be you are here physically buddy buddy. It can be on a distance also.
And I think these questions are very good for me and Gilliam to get, because for us it's kind of it's a bit of a distance away, because we're on the other side, so to speak. And to perhaps not realize that someone wants to be a squire, but it's you're being nervous about asking a knight and not having, you know, wanting to learn things and things like that. But we're on the other side, so we might not see the difficulties people are experiencing, or at least for my part, that's part of your job, Iron, to make sure that I'm up to date and not moving away too much from seeing it from my perspective.
Yeah, I see that
So-
Leah beat me to this question. I was just thinking about it. So Eirik and Gilliam, who asked, or who asked when you were a squire?
I asked him out.
Cool. Did you have to think about it for a long time, or was it like, that's the one?
No, I think that was something that sort of developed over years or so. You know, watching people, and I was kind of impressed with him. And I said, "Yeah, are you interested in wanting to become a knight? And if so, I'm willing to try to help you on that path." And yeah, blonde as he is, he said yes.
Well, we had been to Brewer Guild's meeting, and I knew he was very fond of mead and beer, so he had good taste, so it couldn't go bad from there. No, but I agree with Edward. I don't think I would have dared really to ask. I was very happy to be asked, but it was still one of those, you know, you've been a knight for a very long time. When I became your squire, or very long, more than I had been fighting, and for me, that you were one of the heroes, so to speak. So being asked was a very big moment, but it was also a you pointed out that this is a friendship, and even if I don't reach the prowess or reach knighthood, that is okay, because that's not a requirement. Which I then, before being asked, in my mind that would need to be a requirement. If I don't reach it in 10 years, I get kicked out or something. But that was a very good thing, and one of the reassuring things, that there's no requirement to become a knight. Requirement to be the best fighter I can be. Yes. So.
Yeah, I want to say two things to that. The first one is like when and also back to the learning about the society from you. I think like before you asked me, I don't know if I knew that you could ask a knight to become a squire. Like when I think back of it, I think it was like You know, I kind of thought it was you're chosen by the force to become a squire, and that's how it happens. So yeah, I think we talked about it like in the first episode that it's important that we talk about that that it's allowed to act. Of course, you might get a no, but that goes both ways in it. And also what you said now about that there is no expectations. One of the things that I truly loved was when I got my concussion and everything was bleak as fuck and I just felt so bad for myself and everything. And you're like, it's fine. You're still my squire. Even if you never fight again, you can still be my squire and I will teach you everything that I know. And I was like, oh God, I love you. It was to just know that you have, yeah, to kind of have a place in society, even if you never get knighted or win crown. That is, yeah, I think it's a very sweet and beautiful thing. For me, it was at least. Yeah. Do we have any more questions? I think maybe.
Yes. We actually got one now from Miriel also. What is a chivalric action that is not a practical help? Does it exist? And
I would say yes. I mean, sorry, were you gonna point at that
no.
words? Sort of speak out in support for people who need to be visible or speak up, and this is a chivalric way to behave and not really carrying a bag or changing a tire that's flat, but instead of speaking up about this is a way to behave, this is a way to be, and when that sort of thing, speak up takes courage, absolutely, but it's not a practical help, I would say.
Gilliam?
What is it? I can't really think of anything from the top of my head.
Yeah, I was thinking franchise a little bit, maybe like to kind of show knighthood. And when I think of franchise after the conversation we have, I always think about what you Eirik said, that if you take a knight and you drop them into a different country, a different realm, will you be ashamed of them, or like will you trust that they will portray chivalry in a good way? And I guess like of course that might doing practical help, but how to portray yourself in a knightly way. So maybe franchise could be.
And I mean, it could also be not giving practical help in a way, and making the person actually do something themselves and believe in themselves. I mean, one chivalric moment was a little bit more than a year ago, and it was, I was going to cut up very fancy fabric and making things that I had never done, and got help from Leah, and she said, "Nope, you can do this. I'm going to watch." And in that sense, that was chivalric by not giving practical help. There were other parts where she did give practical help, absolutely, but in that instance, she forced me to actually believe in myself and actually do it. So there's also a chivalric trait in my book to show that you can do this. I trust you in this. That was more scary than entering a crown tournament, I can tell you. But it's still, that is a way of making sure that people can trust themselves. So in the reverse of giving practical help can also be.
It was practical, so maybe it's how you define practical help.
Yeah.
But also,
But we...
just comment in the chat. I very much agree with that. If a knight were to use their prowess to beat someone up that was way below them, that would not be any practical help whatsoever. That would actually be just destructive.
Oh, that's kind of interesting because that is a knight using, I guess, a chivalric virtue to be destructive. To be like, if I use my prowess in this way too much, it might be destructive for another person. So that is kind of interesting. You can, if you, what is the quote? If you live long enough, you see yourself become the villain or something.
But that is actually all the questions we've gotten.
Nice. Great. So I don't know how long we've been streaming, but it might be a good time to start to wrap things up. Yeah, thank you so much, our dear knights, for being here. Too bad that none of you got beer drinking squires.
Working on it.
We have faith in you.
That's where faith comes in. That's the topic for next. So yeah, oh yes, I was going to say that for those of you who are listening, I guess many of you might have been at Coronation this weekend, but we actually have a small announcement. So on Double Wars this year, on Wednesday after the Unbelted tournament,
and after lunch
after lunch, yeah, so you have a chance to eat. We will have a chivalric tournament called the Drachenwald's Claw, and there is a small prize for it, and it will be a perfect opportunity for the knights to show off their prowess, especially since it's after Unbelted. So, yeah, if you are part of the chivalry, we are hoping to see you there. Yeah. So thank you so much for everyone who's been listening tonight. I hope you have a great evening, and we'll see you in the future. And if you want to join, just send us a message. And yeah, now I don't know what to say anymore. So just thank you and good night and goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having us.